Believe in UFOs?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. 100%. I was in Oshawa. This is 10 years ago.
Right.
Walked outside to have a smoke.
10 years ago, so that's 20. So, like, roughly when, though? Like, roughly-ish.
2000.
Because it's 2021 now, right? Obviously.
Yeah. So 2010 sometime, summer.
Okay.
Walk outside. It's nighttime.
Right.
Look up. Moon is over top of my house.
Okay.
Right above me, there's 3 dots in a triangle.
Right.
Then they start doing this weird pattern, crossing, and then they started going up and down, like from me looking up.
Right.
They were doing this. And then all of a sudden it was like, gone, gone, gone. All 3 of them. Gone.
Huh.
Kid's mother at the time, I brought her out and she's seen the exact same thing. There's too many cases where people have seen stuff and the government just throws it under the carpet. They just don't. No. Secret experiment. Hush hush. Covert.
But it's not usually the government that's saying that. It's usually
it's
the public.
mostly media, public. No. You never see
Right.
that.
But the government never says anything.
No, it's only when it's a big deal or somebody caught it on camera.
Right.
Right. Or like, somebody posted on YouTube, then all of a sudden it gets flagged for some kind of, false information or whatever else like that. Meanwhile, it's on Buddy's phone.
Right.
But I would say 9 times out of 10, the general public pushes it under the carpet. Now,
because they don't understand it. They
don't understand, or they don't want to believe.
Right.
Their minds could not comprehend dealing with that on top of their daily lives.
Right.
Just to know that something else is out there besides us, right? Or to believe in their God, right? God wouldn't have created aliens. Okay. Now I'm going to offend a bunch of people. Oh, okay. On that topic, though, I don't believe that God is a single entity. I believe that it's G.O.D. I think it's more of an orchestrated
abbreviation of
what? Something. It's a I don't know. I had a weird dream when I was 14, so 95, 4, something like that, in that general area. And I came up with an analogy for it. And we're here like cattle. How long does it take a single cell organism to evolve to this level? It's a farm, right?
Yeah, it's just a big farm we're living on.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Dinosaurs were here. They got wiped out. They said it was a meteor. But apparently there was cavemen.
Right.
Okay, so were we here the same time?
I think we were. I think we always been here. Yeah. And like, if the dinosaurs didn't get wiped out, they would still be here. Yeah. I feel that the dinosaur was always a dinosaur. It never. It was. It's bogarting Darwin's theory of evolution. Mm. I don't think we were just something at one point. I think we are what we are, and we always have been. Mm-hmm. Right? So we just have been keeping it in the backdrop of things when it comes to the planet growing and expanding stuff. And yeah, for sure we were cave dwellers, mm-hmm. because we had no protection from the elements. Mm-hmm. Right? And the only thing we could do at the time is protect ourselves, and caves seems probably were the best option in those times.
Mm-hmm. There is a nuclear shelter that is for the government. It is a hotel.
Yeah, I
Nobody's allowed to
have
go.
my own thoughts about that.
Nobody's allowed to go. Now, they say that facility can house X amount of people that they would need.
Right.
So, if you take that theory, because apparently it can take 10 nukes or 5 nukes or whatever the number that they've come up with, right? Atomic energy blast to hit this thing and still live. What's a meteor? Okay, say the size of the meteor, let's say it was Apophis. Apophis is a meteor that apparently is supposed to hit us. It is the size of Texas. Apparently it's a planet killer. Use that theory based on the same theory about this mountain. If we lived in a mountain, it wouldn't affect us.
Well,
it would have to a certain extent.
To that magnitude, it would wipe the mountain clean. It would break apart and just,
if it was to hit the mountain.
Well, hit the general area. Like,
yeah, but see, most of these places that they say that caveman came from are colder areas. Well, if
maybe we were in the colder areas because of the dinosaurs,
that's
because they were more warm climate mammals, and why would you want to mingle with, something that's like 200 feet tall?
Yeah. We would come down,
right, after they got extinct.
Yeah.
Right.
And we started exploring more of the traditional, killer type caveman became maybe Vikings, or they spread out throughout the world, blah 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 blah. Now, on the other aspect, if you think about it, Chinese have been around for 4,000 or 5,000 years.
Asians, yeah.
Right? Mayans, Aztecs, everything else like that, even longer.
Right.
Were they around? Except, let's say, if you split up the world, caveman was on top, Aztecs and Mayans were on the bottom. Were they doing the exact same thing?
Probably not. Right?
I don't know. Right?
Different climate, different atmosphere, totally different everything.
But dinosaurs have been found all over the world.
Right.
Right? So if dinosaurs were also in warm climate, would they have been killing them?
Right?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the whole point of a pyramid or those temples, is to protect them.
That's a theory that I have too on the pyramids. The pyramids are in the exact same order as Orion's belt.
Right. Because they were heavy in the astrology.
Mm-hmm. They based
their world off it.
They also have hieroglyphs on there of a guy, an astronaut, with a helmet on it.
Right.
Right? And they're like, oh, well, no modern man could, build this thing. Well, you can clearly go on YouTube now and look up some Indian guy from India or South Africa or wherever, takes a stick and builds a whole ass house in dirt. Water running,
right.
He's got shelves, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's been around for a long time. These guys were smart, and then technology just was frowned upon. I mean, that could go into the whole entire, oh, you practice science, you're a witch, we're burning you at the stake.
But they say that maybe technology wasn't a big thing back in the day,
no,
but
I don't think so.
I heard that they were manipulating sound waves, and that's how they may have been manipulating the stones to create these really big stones. They were using sound waves to cut so because everything's at a frequency, and they might have figured that out. Even though your technology isn't up to par, creating lasers or atomic bombs, but if you just knew the basics, vibration, frequency, which is a common thing, and somehow you can manipulate it, like.
Yeah, see, they said that they used normal hand carving tools.
But what's normal to them compared to us?
Yeah,
we're probably thinking more like a primitive tool.
Oh, a piece of stone that's sharpened or, whatever. See, I would like to know how they got the stones to there. Because the stones that are made from the pyramids are not of there. It's across.
That's right.
The river. Right?
Well, not even across the river. That's why they had the river in Egypt.
So they could float it down.
Well, just for shipment and for trading and stuff, right?
Yeah, right. So like that would be another question to bring up, or
But they've already talked about that stuff, though. If you
yeah,
watch
but not.
Ancient Civilizations.
Yeah, I've watched that, but that sounds more of a. 4 or 5 guys sit down and they just all agreed on it, so it is what it is.
Right.
Right.
But who's to say they're right?
Exactly. Right.
Who's to say that what they're doing and what they're researching is correct? There isn't.
Okay. Or let's say those 5 guys went to Egypt and asked the officials why that river was. Do you honestly think that they would give you an explanation of why it was actually? Oh, no, that was just for trade. That was just for shipments and stuff like that.
It's only under presumption. It's just like we don't really know. Yeah. We weren't there. Nobody was there.
Or they know, and they're just telling you what, they've been told to tell everybody down the generations.
That's right.
Because,
It's just how the world, our human species work is through stories and through hearsay.
Mm-hmm. Nothing. Okay, so what? History was written down only a few thousand years ago. That we started scribbling stuff down on
stone or stone blocks or stone tablets or whatever, right? Parchment paper.
Pieces of tree, stuff like that. So we only have history up until X, and we have no idea. Everything else was.
Well, they do say the victor does write the history. Mm-hmm. So it's not the people that got extinct or the people that died are writing the history. It's the people that have won the battles, the people that have survived. Those are the people that are writing the history. Mm-hmm. So we know from human behavior, we know that people do lie. Mm-hmm. And we do bend the truth just to fit our own little bubble, our own little thoughts of how the world works or.
See, I've heard that the Chinese have scrolls, and they've had scrolls for everything. They used to write everything down. They had people that would just sit there and write all day about certain events.
Scribes.
Yeah. But nobody can see them now because they're so old that if you were to open them up, technically, blah blah blah. What if history was different? What if it was wrote differently than what actually happened?
Right. It is one person's perspective of the event that's happening. Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. One of my favorite books is The Art of War. In there, that guy was a tactician. And it was more so free. He just gave his wisdom, but that wisdom is now used through multitude of armies. What's not to say that he was oh, write everything down. So they wrote everything down, but it wasn't actually what happened. Right. He, again, that is a scribe of himself. What if that guy was just making stuff up as he went?
To make himself look better.
Yeah, right.
Well, the victor goes to the history, right? Mm-hmm. So
it's like magicians back in the medieval times when they'd be trying to do this whole turn gold into or hay or
alchemy. When they were doing the philosopher's stone, right? To manipulate molecules to create gold.
Yeah,
a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
They used to tell these people these lies so they would pay them. Right. And then when they couldn't produce, off with their head.
Right.
Then they would hire somebody else. Right. So history itself has shown lots and lots and lots and lots of lies. So what's not to say that people now are covering up UFOs or checking on us?
That's the big question, right?
I would like to know where this information was that was supposed to be released a little while ago, right?
Regarding what?
Well, the UFOs. The United States of America was supposed to release all this information to do with UFOs, but hey, you know what? Trump got kicked out.
You know what? It's not. It's disclosure. This 180-day disclosure. Mm-hmm. People rely on other people to get this information. People are lazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm lazy too. Mm-hmm. And it's you will not get disclosure from the government. I shouldn't say we. Well, maybe, but it's. I don't know where this. I guess, yeah, we as a people that believe in this phenomenon, this UFO and aliens and everything else, there is enough evidence out there for disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you just got to put pieces together, right? You got to fit them all together. And now, people that are not into that or dabble into that side of things, so like YouTube and or Twitter, and they only rely on the news, right? With this Lou Elizondo thing, a lot of people have a lot of bad stigma attached to him. Maybe not a lot, but just the people that I talk to and communicate with. He's showing military images. That's what he's portraying. These military images. It's not the government that's releasing it; it's the people. So let's just throw it all out the window and say Lou Elizondo is right. 100%. He is not lying. He's not nothing. He's just getting the information out there. That's the disclosure. It's not the government coming forth and saying it. It's the government coming forth and just confirming it. Right? So it's not the government that's releasing the information. They're just confirming it. And that's, I feel, is going to be what people are going to be looking for. Is that disclosure of, yes, they are real. So they're not releasing information per se. They're just confirming the information that's out there. Right?
Well, I think people, the generalized people that are looking for answers,
right,
want some kind of clarification. And if somebody higher up, or somebody with a media status, or some mucky muck, if you will,
right,
goes
like Lou Elizondo,
exactly,
right,
then they're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, for sure, it's 100% true, right? And then the government doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to release any documents.
That's right.
You know, oh, okay, well, this guy took one for the team. What about the people that see through him, through his
his lies? Well, this is now looking at a different perspective. Yeah, through all his lies and manipulation. Now, there was apparently somebody that back in the day that did that, and they suspected that they were trying to mislead the people.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Is it
Never
like
really research about it.
Is it like a Clinton thing?
No, like he's just he was meant to put a different spin on things because the people were talking about it too much and probably getting too close to the truth, and so they used people to Bob Lazar to mislead people, to give them a different type of look on things, just so that things are being pushed away from the truth, right? So, and that was a big thing. I don't know what year it was, if it was the 60s, somewhere between this, I know it's a big gap, between the 60s and 80s, but a 20-year gap, they were just trying to bend the truth, to make it their own. Once again, the victor tells the history, right? So we can't rely on other countries. Being in Canada and or United States, we can't rely on China, Russia. We can't rely on these other countries to produce this evidence that what's going on is true and or is it military or what's going on.
Well, on that though, it's not that we can't trust them, is because right now in the world, the way that it's, I don't want to say brought up, but evolved over the centuries,
right,
we're so against each other, it's not even funny. So if somebody was the bigger man and was just like, okay, you know what, here, and then everybody followed suit, I think we'd be a lot better. Because like Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? What's the statistics of people seeing what they're seeing to these people that are shutting it down, denying it? Where's the paperwork for that? Where's the history there?
Because everybody wants evidence, right? And that's the conundrum of things.
Yeah.
Right? When you use speculation and or eyewitness testimonies. You got to rely on the person. Now, with the way we live today, it's hard to believe Joe Blow, right? It really is, because you have to just rely on what he's saying, his testimony. You got to believe it or not.
Can it trick enough people into believing it?
So that's what the government was after. So the government, not after, I shouldn't say. That's what they were dabbling into, is they were relying on people's gullibility. So like Lou Elizondo, he's attacking people. I shouldn't say attacking. It's not the proper word, but more, I believe, manipulating of the truth, in the sense where he's trying to put something there, but what really isn't. Because not a lot of people do ufology.
Would you say it's like a sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Here's what's actually the truth. But
right, like he posted these videos, and I watched them like multiple times. Especially this one that was apparently slow. Like he shortened the video, but apparently it had a slow descending, into the background, and it looked like it possibly could have went in the water, but they were saying they're recording a recording. So they had a phone recording on a TV that was recording it. And so they were like, people in the background, oh look, I heard it splash. Oh look, it went into the water. But when you look at the video, you do not hear or see that. But yet they were saying these things. So when I talk to my neighbor, he believes in Lou, and it's the gullibility that my neighbor has.
Are you talking about the nuclear explosion that happened?
No. I'm talking about Lou Elizondo posted several videos, I believe, but one of them being it's this black object. You cannot see it. It's in I don't know what view it's in, and it's odd that military would have that type of video, because you can't see it. He talks about it, but you don't know what it is. Literally, you don't know what it is. It's not like these people with phones and taking pictures and seeing these orbs, and you know what an orb looks like, and stuff like that. It's nothing, and he's portraying it as something, right? And that's the gullibility that the government looks for back in the day, and they play off from that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? So there's truth to it. Possibly, let's think outside the box, and Lou's telling the truth, but indirectly, meaning the image that he used is not real, but there is something going on.
Now, when were these videos posted? What was that video?
Oh man, I'm bad with dates.
No, like within the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
easy.
So let's analyze that. So there was a black dot on the
That's
screen.
all it is.
Okay.
And there's water, right? Riffling, and then the black dot just slowly. He cut the video, shortened it, so it's not like it's slowly going down, and it just slowly goes down, and that's it. And then he was saying it's a UFO. It made a splashing noise, but you don't hear it.
Okay.
So you're just relying on what he's saying.
This is an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Right.
It has 4K video.
Right.
60 frames a second, and somebody couldn't take a better video of that. They're gonna make you believe.
This is the gullibility.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. So when he went to the social media, so we're not talking about anything in ufology. We're talking CNN, Fox, all these bigger organizations of media. He somehow got into them, or got into their view. And now they're posting his videos. And now these people, don't get me wrong, it's a great thing, because it's starting to open people's eyes. But man, you could have picked a lot better videos.
Oh yeah.
A lot better.
I love how they show videos of criminals or everything else like that, and you're literally using tapes from the 40s.
Right.
It looks like the most pixelated thing. The what is it? Samsung S21 Ultra has 140 megapixel with infinity display and infinity zoom.
But who's going to afford that right now?
Okay.
That's the question.
Even at that, right? Security cameras, or anything that picks up any kind of movement, right? I got a camera at my house that picks up random movement. It is in 1080p.
Right.
How do you not have 1080p on a camera? Your camera...
Oh, hold on. How can you not have amazing pictures on a military craft?
Yeah.
So, it could be an aircraft carrier, submarine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have this type of
radar,
technology? Right?
Pinpoint.
But the image that he shows is recently, and it's crap.
Yeah.
It is literally crap. And like I said before, there is, if Lou wanted to, he's using his title to get out there. So I feel that he's using this, I was this kind of thing, believe me. And this images that he's putting out, he could have went anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
He could have went anywhere else and took an image and shared it and said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But because he wants that, we don't know what his true intentions are. It could be money, publicity, royalties. Who knows? Yeah. Nobody knows. And only Lou knows. Right? So it's hard to know what people's intentions are.
I wonder if he's a puppet.
Oh, yeah. There's several puppets out there.
Oh, well, I mean, if...
Like Kermit the Frog's a puppet.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And he had a whole show.
Right? So...
Yeah, so, like... I think that he is taking the totally wrong approach to it. I think we're getting played by multiple people so that it...
He could be even being played. So he was in a different position in the military, and they only, I wouldn't say recently from today, but recently in his career, put him into this UFO kind of research lab thing. And it's like a room somewhere in the corner. And this is where he's apparently getting this information from his posting. And it's maybe he's being misled because they know who he was and know that he would say something. And so there's been movies and shows and whatnot associated to this where the government knows who one person is and they feed them false information to see where they would go with it, and knowing that that person will go out and tell people and whatnot. So maybe it's not Lou himself, maybe he's being misled himself. And so when he comes forth with this information, he's looking like an idiot, right? And he doesn't understand why when he's like, he's like you and I. He's like, holy shit, no, I really seen it. But really, the information that was given to him is fake, right?
Yeah. Well,
right?
You said he was in the military?
Yeah, apparently.
We have a mutual friend that was in the military.
Right.
Okay. And I got talking to him one time, and he was telling me that in the military, they were given certain shots.
Right.
Right?
But that's for radiation and stuff.
Well, yeah. Why aren't we getting it?
Because we're not exposed to it as much.
Oh.
Right?
Oh. You gonna tell that to the 5G towers? But why do they get this treatment for when they go to war, right?
Right.
It would be the same thing. They're not allowed to disclose any of this. Technically, our mutual friend could get in large trouble, right? What is it? Dishonorably discharged or whatever else like that, blah, 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 blah. So if Lou's coming out with all this information and stuff like that, did he find a loophole to be able to?
What are you doing?
Trying to find a shovel, the little shovel.
Oh, okay. Right.
Did he get in trouble? Or did somebody come and tell him, hey, listen, we have a job for you. You keep these people in check over here, right? We'll give you a big title, lots of money, etc., lots of publicity, exactly what you want.
Right.
But you keep these people in check over here, because we got stuff over here that we got going on.
Right.
Right? I think that's more of a proper thing to say about him, because...
Have you seen any footage from Lou Elizondo or anything like that?
No.
You haven't even seen it?
Maybe I have, but just not been
maybe that's something you should do, is check out who he is and his body language when he portrays this information. That's the kicker, right? It's how you hold yourself and how you talk and how you do things. And I think you'd be surprised on why a lot of people, I shouldn't say surprised. You will understand why a lot of people don't believe this guy. Because it is all in your body language and what you do, and how you hold your arms or how you hold yourself, right?
Yeah. Body language is
a
lot of people get manipulated by body language, right?
Right.
Your intention is X, but you're showing Y, right?
Well, that's what I said. Like he said, oh yeah, somebody in the background, oh, it splashed, it went into the water. But what you're seeing is totally different, right? And it's like with body language. He's saying one thing, but he's showing something totally different, right? And that's what we can read. Anthony, can you stop walking back and forth here? Can you, like, when you're coming through, come through this way, please, or something? Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So, right?
Anyways, back to our original topic, though. I think we are completely farm animals. I think it's like cattle.
Yeah.
See how long it takes us to get from A to B. And we have people like him that knock us off left and right.
Right.
Keep us over here.
So, like the herder, like the dog herder. Right.
I think with, like, I come back to that theory that I have once in a blue moon, and I think that at some point, maybe even the Roswell thing that happened, that was a meeting, and it was like, listen, blah, 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 this is what's going on, we need you guys to just, keep your people in check over here, because we got other stuff that's going on, and it was a meeting, something happened, we'll give you guys technology just to be hush-hush, move you into a new generation to help you guys out. Maybe it was, because microwaves didn't exist. They've only been around for X amount of years, right? All of a sudden, magically, we can just put something in the microwave.
Well, everything that we get is from the military. So the military have already thought about it, right? And it's been applied to the military in their weaponry and or technology. So we get it in the public because they found another way to use it. Besides killing something or manipulating something, right? So that's where we get a lot of our technology from. I should say all our technology from.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. It's there's too many variables and everything to go through everything.
But we got to give ourselves some credit too, as a species. We can be intelligent and
we've come a long way,
right? But that's why I think we have come a long way, because of our brain and how we can think open-minded. And there is open-minded people out there that can see a circle, but see it in a different way. Like they could apply it to everyday life and stuff. So these people have always been around us, but a lot of those people don't get a word or say in today's society unless you have that title and or authority in some way. People won't even look at you, right? It's true, right? Like,
or you have a couple million hits on YouTube or some kind of social media status of some sort. People don't look your way. So when the generalized public talks, it doesn't mean nothing.
Right.
You're just talking.
Just talking.
Right?
Does it irk you does that topic irk you? Like, does it really bother you that you don't have a say? And and that goes with any topic. It doesn't have to be conspiracy stuff or whatever. Just in general, if you have an opinion about something and people bogart you, they ignore you, say you're crazy or stupid or whatever, and it doesn't matter what it is.
Yes. Doesn't
it arc you? Doesn't it piss you off? How can you say my opinion or my say is nothing because I'm not, I'm a parent, but let's just say somebody that doesn't have a child or whatever, and they say something, and then you look at them going, well, you're not a parent. Well, that's a title.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, what he's saying is wrong and doesn't matter because he's not a parent.
Mm-hmm.
That, once again, that's human history. That's
Mm-hmm.
how we do things.
I've learned that your opinion only matters if it benefits the other person's opinion or is along the same lines as that person's opinion.
Right.
Right? I could say that our government is a complete shambles, and 10,000 people say, yeah, it is. The other 20,000 are like, no, it's perfect, it's working amazing, right? Is it? Right?
But it's one person perspective.
Yeah, my opinion doesn't matter to anybody, right? It's the generalized that everybody takes path with, right? So like I could be like, yes, UFOs are here, there's people that live on this place, blah blah blah. We're like the back alley, we're the ghetto of the universe, we don't go near Earth, roll your windows up, and that might be the other 20,000 species of aliens that just drive by and they're like, oh, we don't go there. Like, it's so primitive, it's so ghetto, it's like, we don't go there. But
yet we have sightings, and we've seen things. I've seen a craft. So it's not like they're not coming around.
No.
Right? And why are they showing themselves to people? In a sense, knowing what we are as a species and how aggressive we could be towards something that we don't understand.
Yeah. Well,
verbally and physically, right? So, like, once again, so somebody says they're not a parent, but they're voicing their opinion amongst a group of people that are parents. All those people are going to be aggressive towards that one person.
Well, it's fight or flight, right? It's either, like, if aliens were to show up right now, what do you think would happen? My opinion is government would swarm in, feds, helicopters, planes, they'd have a lock missile on every single friggin' thing that moved.
It would be chaos.
It would be utter chaos until they told them their intentions.
But because of people like to believe in something, and they don't like other people's opinion and or beliefs of the subject matter. So there's religious people out there, the Catholic religion with Jesus and stuff. Now, if you have an alien that comes down to Earth, that religion will be in shambles. It would there'd be so much chaos.
Well, there are
right, because there'd be so many questions, right? And so it's easy to fluff off or mislead people because the evidence that's out there now, it's easy to do that. But once you physically have an alien that the world can see appear, that's when it starts, right? When you cannot deny it, when the evidence is there in your face.
Oh, that would blow the whole entire thing right out of perspective. They would probably come out and say that, yes, we do know about these, but they would be a narcissist, right? And they would change it and flip it to make them look like they actually knew about this, but they were protecting us for the safety of us, or because Jesus needed to blah blah blah. They would make it about themselves and put it back on to the people. I mean, right now the church is already looking kind of bleak, if you will, because of all the dead babies and children and people that they found in these residential schools. Now it wasn't just 215, now it's up over 300. And every single residential school that they're going to, they're finding people. And I found out that the church doesn't actually prosecute them. The government doesn't actually prosecute them. What they do is they move them and give them a new name, and they put them somewhere else. So he will get a guaranteed pass, him and his family, to another country, let's say. We're like, okay, we got to pull him out, put him in Greece. We'll put him in blah, 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 where we have another Catholic church that gets that guy away from that trouble, and then they kind of like push it under the table. Well, now because of social media, like TikTok taking over and everything else like that, it's coming out, right?
It's hard to hide. It's hard to hide the truth.
It is nowadays, right? But with media, with their foot and these community standards, and it's funny because MySpace was, you could decorate anything, you could have music playing, you could have all kinds of great stuff on there, and you could voice your opinion, because we have things like freedom of speech. You go to Facebook now, and you can't put your freedom of speech on there because it goes against community standards. What's community standards? So if I said, aliens are alive, they're here, they've come here, they've been coming here for years, blah, 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 automatically I get a 30-day ban for something that goes against community standards.
Right.
What's the community standards? When you look at those rules, it doesn't apply to everybody. It only applies to the general, right? Okay, well, that could be, it's like COVID-19, right? I've gotten banned off of Facebook for a COVID-19 post that I seen on Facebook, reposted it, got a 30-day ban, right? Because it was false information. As soon as you put false information that's false to everybody else that the media is containing, right? You
it's
can't,
pretty
you can't say,
broad word, false information.
You have an opinion, but only to yourself.
Right.
Right. And when you learn about opinions, when you're a child, you say whatever is on your mind, right? And that happened last night with my daughter. She was talking about some people that were on drugs.
Right.
Loudly. They could clearly hear him. I told her, I was like, just relax. Because your opinion could offend them, right? And then they would get me into trouble. Because then I would have to defend you for your talking.
Right.
That's exactly how the media works, except you're hushed. You are put on a timeout. You are grounded. You're not allowed to talk about that, even if it is the truth, right? It could be the truth. You post it, and something comes along and goes, community standards, or, for more information, go to this website and check out these details. Why do I want to check out your details when it's clearly true?
Right.
Because if I go to that website,
it'll
tell you exactly, right? No. COVID-19 has gone through extensive testing. It'd be the same thing as a UFO ship, right? No. There's no such thing. You go to this website. Well, no, the military is guarding this whole entire continent. And it's not as if they brush it off or they say yes or no. It's more of a, have you seen this? Like, this is a cool item.
Yeah.
No. Hold on, we'll get back to that. This is like, our military is at the top of its, like we're second in the world for, and you're giving stats about the military. Well, that's great. I wasn't asking about the military. But that's exactly what it's designed to do, right? So the more people that keep on clicking on that link, get persuaded that way. Right? Your opinion doesn't matter anymore. The facts that you have don't matter anymore.
Right.
So, like, even if you come to, like, Lou and you were to tell him this stuff and you were to bring him facts and he was to do it on his show, right, he would twist the words just like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it plays to his benefits for his puppet masters.
What he's wanting out of this, and like I said that before in our conversation, is what's he after? What's he doing it for? What's his narrative? Like, why is he doing what he's doing? Right? And people want to hear about that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so to get people to view you and or to like you, the truth is a lot better than a lie.
See,
right?
This right here is a fact. If you were to interview him, he would not be ready for it.
No, for sure not.
Because it's not recited, it's not rehearsed, there's not a thing that's playing over here.
Right.
Giving him quotes on a screen. If you were to be like, what's your motive behind this? He would have that answer, but it wouldn't be the answer that you would be looking for. It would be already rehearsed 1,000 million times for anybody else that wanted to question him about that. I'm just here to open the eyes of the public to da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, you have your agenda over here that you're told to do, what's your real agenda? Like, is somebody going to kill you? Is somebody going to hurt your family?
Right.
You're going to lose money?
What?
Yeah, because money talks.
That's right.
Anything can be bought with money. How much money? How much are you worth? Right? So if somebody like yourself was to interview him, it would be like, Paul Logan
Who?
actually fighting.
Sorry?
Paul Logan. He's a YouTube star. He's got a bunch of channels, blah, blah, blah. The guy's a clown. Fighting Mayweather. Actually fighting. They had a fight a little while ago. It was, what did they call it? It was, a charity fight.
Right.
Right? You could clearly tell that Mayweather, who has a record of 50-0-0, going against Paul Logan, who has no record of fighting ever,
Right.
right? And him and his brother, Jake Paul, saying that he won. Clearly, Mayweather was taking it easy. But again, that would be the exact same thing, right? You would be Mayweather if this was an actual fight, and Lou would be Paul Logan, and he would get crushed by questions. There
Right.
would be no, he would not have, he would leave. He would get up
He
and
would not
leave.
be here.
No, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
No, he would not take his time of day to take somebody, an actual person that actually wants to know the truth, because that's not what he gets paid to do. Right?
That's right.
And that's
not what
the
he's
problem.
looking for. He's looking
That's-
for the
mainstream. He wants the mainstream that everybody's talking about to make it his way.
But he's not going to these channels that already have 20,000 people or
Yeah.
100,000 people, or a secure team that has almost 1 million people, like, or if not more of people watching them. But he will not go to these channels. It's a romper room. So yeah, probably people like me, but people that want to get something out of it, money, publicity, or something around that line, right?
Oh yeah.
And to get people to click on for views, right? So
That's-
it's not even about the truth at this point. It's about how many clicks and people are going to see you.
Yeah.
And that's where CNN and Fox, that's why it goes to these other organizations, because it's not about the truth. It's about getting your name out there, and it's about making money.
That's
Here
it.
at the end.
Right.
So when he comes out with a video or documentary that he wants to sell, right, he can do it, right? Because people that don't watch in ufology or not dabbled into it only rely on these news outlets. For sure, he's the poster boy for that, right? But in reality is, why don't you get out of that and look deeper into it?
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that.
If he created his own podcast or went about his own different way, I think he would be more recognized and not like a joke, like not a laughing stock. There's people that believe him, right? And they probably share the same train of thought as him. It's people like...
But he has no thoughts. That's the problem. If you watch him, it's not a thought.
No.
It's just he's using facts, and that's what it is really all about. If you, that's what you're trying to portray, right? So there's a couple of YouTubers out there, podcasters, that only rely on facts. So if you don't have any facts, they don't even want to look at you, right?
See, the moment you veer off from those facts, your hits take a drop.
Right.
And if you have a YouTube channel, it's all about facts. It's all about the hits, right? Because after so many hits, you start getting paid, and once you get paid, then you get a name, then blah blah blah, and then people want to interview you, and you lose sight of your actual goals. So the original thing was, like if it was just a joke, and it was just a joke. But now you got social media that has to be, whatever, and then
Right.
Yeah, it's so bad. We live in a very
unorthodox world right now.
Very touchy-feely right now. It's a day-by-day, hour-by-hour kind of thing.
It's crazy.
It is. You got people that know the truth, want to say the truth,
But feel be
But-
ridiculed.
or they will be completely crushed or already have, and have just learned the exact same thing that, basically I have, is that just don't even waste your time right now, because nobody is going to listen,
Right.
And if they do, right, they have Lou's or this guy's opinion to back up their facts that would crush your facts.
Right.
Oh, you didn't see that. That was just it was an aerial stunt done by, the snowbirds. Oh, okay. You're talking about 15, 20-year-old fucking fighter pilots that are, doing shit up in the air, Sure. Okay. All right. It was just a crop duster, came across,
Right.
Gas explosion. That's my favorite one.
Right?
You didn't see that, though, You better go get, Or they just, because you are nobody, if you were to come out with a certain fact that was so true, that was so controversy, that got so many hits on the internet, do you think that you would live the rest of the week?
I don't know. It's hard to
If
say.
somebody came out with such a fact that was so true, right, that blew Lou or the government's thing or da-da-da-da-da, you would be shut down. And I don't mean shut down. I mean you would be, who are you?
Right.
Where did you go? What? No, I don't remember now. You'd be going. You'd be taken care of. You'd be, you'd be at Johnny's locker in the bottom of the sea. That's exactly what would happen, right? Oh, he tried to rob a bank. Oh, yeah. He was on narcotics. We put him in the mental institute, right? There's guys in the jail. It's funny. I was watching this documentary on hacking, and there's a guy that found some stuff that wasn't supposed to find some stuff, and he's in a cell, and he has no lawyer, he's not allowed phone calls, and he's been in there for 2 years, and nobody knows anything about it. He's just in there, and he can't get out. His family knows, everything else like that. His buddies support him from across the street. The security guards and the police have told them to leave. They're like, no, this is private property. They're gonna get arrested. They get tickets, everything. They're not supposed to be talking to this guy. What did you find? Why is he in jail? It's not even allowed. There's no trial. There's no date. There's no nothing. There's no court documents. There's no nothing. He's just in a cell in this high secure, like it's worse than ICE, right? And he's not allowed to do anything. So,
Right.
That's why they take like hackers so serious. But then that brings up another thing too, right? Like, okay, say it is true. We find this fact, and WikiLeaks brings it out.
Right.
Right? That guy's in protection. He's in witness protection in England behind so many walls. He's not allowed to leave. He has guys that come up, serve him food, dinner, everything else like that, blah, 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 because he's not allowed to leave because he found out some stuff. That would be like saying that's the exact same thing as Lou, right? He's just brought up so many facts. Like,
but that's saying that Lou is right.
well, he's not right.
Right. So he wouldn't fall under that.
WikiLeaks, I believe, is doing the exact same thing. See, hackers always try and find the truth. It's not always about, like, cracking a program or anything else like that. It's more or less like, no, I have something and you can't have it because it's truth, it's fact. And we get in there, we get it. Right? Then we find it out, then we get penalized for it. Captain Crunch, he was a hacker back in the 80s, shut down 2,600 computers, blah, 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 blah. That was just a virus. That was just him playing around. He wasn't allowed it for 10 years, right? That was 15 years, something like 10, 15 years, can't remember. But now, there's shows that, like, I was watching the show and I can't even remember the name of it right now. But this 10-year-old kid hacked into NASA because he wanted the blueprints for his wall. And the feds and SWAT swatted his house, took him away, found out that he was genius, right? They were like, oh, Albert Einstein had an IQ of 160. He was like, I'm 196. Okay. Like, to find out certain information, you just go and you get it. But if somebody doesn't allow it, right, that's against the law, right? Well, if public knowledge is supposed to be public knowledge, why do people have to hack into stuff? Okay,
Right.
sure, okay, different governments, blah, 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 but what if you guys were on the same page? Why do you have to fight?
Right.
Like, oh, okay, there's a sign, and I can't remember where it is in the States, but it says, don't let the population go over 50 million or something like that. And then all of a sudden, COVID hits. That sign comes up, blah, 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 blah. It was written way back in the day. Yeah, like...
Well, that's
like,
dabbling into something totally different, right?
Yeah, like... But that's the whole entire aspect of it, right? Is to guide you away from what you're actually looking at. right? It's not necessarily just to straight up say no, because straight up to say no to somebody, you're lying, okay? But if I didn't tell you the truth and I gave you my answer, which almost touched on the truth, but not exactly, it's not lying, right? Is it a white lie? It's misleading. That's exactly what it is, right? Because if you went to Area 51, you knock on the front door, if you could even get there, right? Because you'd be sniped out.
Hypothetically,
hypothetically, you could knock on the door, front door, be like, "Hey, listen, you guys got aliens here? You got a ship here? I just want to see it."
Right.
Right. And they were like, "No." Right. Would you believe them? Or would you say, okay, and leave? If they were to say, yes, but you can't see it, your next question would be, why? You'd be like, if we release this information, right, it might get leaked out to another country.
Right.
Okay? The only people that care about war are people that want war.
Right.
So...
Or power or authority.
Exactly, right? Who's got the best weapon? Right? Who has the best team? Who's got the best da-da-da-da-da? That brings up another point, though, right? Video games, right? You got soldiers that train for, 6 months, I think, is PT, right? Just the beginning of your camp, right? And they train for 5, 10 years. I got guys that I play with on the line that would slaughter. They would make a joke out of the army. Are they training you for it, though? If I could put a robot that was made from some kind of alien technology, let's say...
indirectly, I think yes on that. Meaning, like, because a lot of stuff comes from the military. So these simulators, flight simulators and stuff like that we have in today's games come from military origin. Because we wouldn't... because, they even said that they used to train fighter pilots and drone pilots and stuff like that through means of games, right? And so this is where we get a lot of our games from. And yeah, so maybe indirectly they are training us to be violent / ready for anything.
Okay. Now,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so here's the thing. Atari, when it first came out, the company went and got a personal loan on Atari, right? It was like millions of dollars. And you talked back in 1970s, 80s, right? Millions of dollars was like...
a lot of money.
Like a car was like $3,500. A house was $29,000 or $30,000 or whatever, right? Minuscule money. Then you're talking about millions of dollars to create a flight sim. And that's what it was designed for. And that's where Pong came. Right? That was the original system, was supposed to be a flight sim for pilots. Didn't work, crushed it. The guy revamped it and sold it as a video game, in-home video game computer system.
Right.
It sold, I don't know how many systems, whatever. Then as soon as ET came out, it kind of crashed and killed everything. And then, but you take that, right? And then, what if they found something? Something crashed. Let's not even say Roswell, because that, like, let's not even get on the moon.
That's a rabbit hole itself.
That's so hard.
Really
People have been chasing that thing
since the 50s.
Since it happened, right? They've just been going on, and everybody, I got this piece of metal from Roswell. Oh, okay. I think we put some satellites up that blew up. Maybe one didn't even blow up. Maybe it's a piece of sheet metal that fell off the house. But this guy swears to God it's from an alien craft. Da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Whatever. If you use that same analogy of the video game market, these people that are designed to go out and hurt other people against other countries, etc., etc., etc.
You're building the next gen of soldier.
Exactly, and you're just protecting your information more and more, right? What else do you have to hide, right? Okay, so this is an idea that I've been playing around with for a long time. Atlantis.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
Sure.
You ready for this?
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Ready? What if? Just strictly what if? They're literally... The government literally does not know about the UFOs. What if? Right? What if? And they literally don't know anything about it. And this is why they're taking so long to disclose, because they have nothing. Nothing. It's all been a story. And there's literally nothing. So they're trying to make something out of nothing. And different people's perspectives made this UFO. And so the power of the mind has been manipulating people and having these weird visions and or experiences. And it's actually only the human brain that's been doing this. And there is no evidence from the government. Like, the UFOs have not mingled with the government at all. And they've only been flying by to recon the planet. But the government has no information about it.
Okay, so you're saying...
Because this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. They're saying this. They're saying they're not involved in it. They are, but indirectly, meaning that they know of them showing up. And so there's an Area 51, but it's based on research of the matter, more so than having a craft there or having aliens there. But in reality is that we don't. And they've only been coming to visit. They've been visiting for thousands of years. But nobody knows. Nobody will ever know. And they've never been visiting. And the crafts that do crash, for sure, they probably picked them up. But the reality is, the government literally does not know. And therefore, they cannot give us information.
Okay, so hold on, let me get this correct. So the government has no idea what was going on.
Zero.
They are trying to figure it
out
as fast as possible.
They're like us, just like us.
Yeah.
They see an object, what is it? And then they come up with speculations. And so now the people have been seeing it, and they've been going after the government for this information, and they're pissed off that the government hasn't released. Maybe there's literally nothing to fucking release. Literally. And so what they're trying to do is gather something to keep the people happy. So they're trying to just something to keep the people from uprising and creating turmoil all over the world. Because people think that the government's hiding something. But reality is they are not. And they're just as baffled as we are. And that's why they try to push the threat narrative to the people, because they literally don't know. They literally don't know.
That would be...
But that would destroy the government, right? Because we rely on the government to know certain things and to protect us. So if you have a government that you rely on to protect you, is now, like I said, all hypothetical. Well, I'm not saying this is facts and this is what it is, but so what if? What if the government doesn't want to say nothing because they don't want the people to not think that the government's not doing their job? And this is why Trump made SpaceX, to help the people ease their mind.
Trump.
Trump. He made SpaceX.
What?
Or
No,
sorry, now
Elon.
Sorry, my bad.
Elon Musk.
My, not SpaceX. That's a company. Space Force. So Trump made Space Force, trying to make another organization in the military, which is already done. So what they're trying to do is put people's mind at ease. And this Space Force organization is to help with that. But reality is, they literally don't know. And they're only doing it to people to show that the government is trying to protect them. So
I would say, okay,
because people have talked about that too.
The
right?
what if part of that
right.
would absolutely make 100%
right,
like actual fact.
It would make it would help Lou Elizondo's case too. He records an image, but they're saying that these images and stuff, they said they might be crafts from another country that's flying over, because you can't see nothing, literally nothing. It's a black dot. There's nothing, no distinctive patterns to it, nothing, no sound, no nothing.
See,
right?
Okay. So if you were to say that the government knows absolutely nothing and they're trying to catch ideas, just grab,
right,
grab,
just to
right?
give to
Area
the people,
51
to make people at ease, saying that yes, we are trying to protect you, kind of thing, and we have organizations to research these subjects.
Okay.
But reality is they don't. They've always ignored it because it's been such a topic that they cannot explain, so they don't really dabble into it, and so they falsify these organizations. That's the false information.
Okay.
Right?
Based on that, let's say out of 100, right? You're going to satisfy them, them actually going, hey, listen, we have no idea what the hell is going on. Area 51 is just a research facility.
Yeah.
We are trying to figure out as much as you
Yeah.
guys. Like,
but they don't want to
no
tell
idea.
them that. Because they don't want people to be scared, right?
If they did come out with that, the what if part here would be, okay, 50% of the public that actually do believe in that would accept that answer, right? They would totally go, thank you. And they would thank the government for actually being honest.
Right.
You got 50% left. You're going to have a group of guys that are going to want, let's go with 25% of
Sure.
that 50. They're going to want to know some more answers.
Right.
Right? If the government can come up with a couple more things that they can give them, that 25% is going to get persuaded over.
Right.
And you get 75% of the general public that wants to just go, yes, okay,
No,
we'll
that'd
believe
be
the
more than
government.
25%, not 75. You're
No.
adding more.
So
You said
50%,
50,
yeah,
a half of the 100% of the public,
would accept that answer.
25.
Now, hold on. If you were to give them that 25% more information, you would persuade them into the, okay, we're fine
So
with it.
now you're
thank
at 75% of the population already taken care of. Now you got
Yeah,
25 left.
25%. The 25% would be broken down into small groups, and I would say probably 10% of that 25 would be the last people standing that would want actual hard, like, we would want to go there, you show us everything.
Right.
Do not lie, you're bullcrap. They would still be on the you are lying.
Right.
The what if part, I would believe the government has no idea and they're fetching ideas. They're trying to figure it out. Lou might be the guy, the head general, if you will, in a triangle of people trying to figure it out, but he was the best spokesman because he knew about the most stuff because he was in the military, knew about a little bit of it, maybe seen something during the time that he was in, because fighter
Or
pilots see
always
crap all
talked
the
about
time.
it.
Seen it, yeah, exactly. Maybe he was one of the guys that, like, maybe his
Was
dad
it-
was a
he was-
conspiracist.
That's what I mean. He was this conspiracy theorist in the military.
Mhm.
So all the guys that he worked with
Yeah.
or under knew about Lou's point of thought.
You guys still doing your thing?
Oh, yeah. We've been at an hour.
Should look up.
Yeah.
I should, oh, fuck, I should probably go.
What time is it?
1:38.
Yeah, all right. We'll stop it.
The time has come we clean the pollution.
For the last 9 days, the entire world has seen for itself the state of our...
The time has come we clean the pollution.
Strong, strong, strong.